Yeah. And honestly, like, making top 8 at all in this bracket is, like, honestly, it's insane. Especially considering you beat Sego to get there. Yeah. Like, I'm sure Ambi is... And he's in the money. So, like, I'm sure Ambi is more than content to just settle for 7th. Like, hey, I did great today. So, good stuff to Ambi. Good stuff absolutely to Ambi. Incredible. But we're going to be moving on. We've got the other loser side set of Windows versus Zora TK.
Right. So this is not necessarily these are not surprising players to see here necessarily based on their skill level, especially also both of them being fairly invested in Workshop itself. The only thing going into this was we weren't sure what Windows was going to play, and we definitely were not sure what Zora TK was going to play. Mm-hmm. Because Windows has a history of playing, like, we've seen Hime Daisho in the past, I think we've seen a bit of Malo. I believe we've actually seen Astra before as a pick, but it wasn't when I wasn't entirely sure if we would see an actual bracket. Mm-hmm. Astra's been played, Windows actually been looking pretty nice. Pretty nice. But Zora TK is the one who really came out with a surprise because we've mostly seen Zora play Ash and Cuphead in the past.
Mm-hmm. And neither of those characters are legal in this tournament, so before this we didn't really know who exactly Zora would be playing, but it turns out to be the Leica, which I'm going to once again express my heavy bias for Leica, and I absolutely adore this character. But we're gonna see how it stacks up against the Astra, which is another favorite of mine.
Basically, this is Sparks fantasy.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah. No, this is a matchup I am more than happy to see. So for those of you who have seen Astra, they've been around the block for quite a bit, I'd say. You've got the 3 different cards: Sun, Star, and Nebula, and they all change your specials. Your side B is a completely different spell depending on which card you have selected. You've got the charge shot in the Sun, your Star is a bit of a dash forward with a spike, and your Nebula shot is this little purple ball that puts people in Rano Bubble hit stun. Very interesting to see. You also...
Now, one thing, if you will give me a quick moment, because it's gonna start coming out now, is that you have the Wisp charges, which is the blue HUD indicator there, which was just to empower the strong attacks of Leica. Leica's strong attacks naturally not very strong. They're generally like pretty okay, but with the blue Wisp charge, which is relevant for a lot of mechanics actually on this character, it makes them extremely potent. Now, other uses for it is side special being a kind of flame placer. It's kind of like adds this little, almost Absa Cloud-like.
Yeah, it just puts the Wisp out onto the field.
And it is more potent when it's a blue Wisp, and also you can use it to do probably the most useful thing with it, which is charge up your arrows into a blue arrow. And the blue arrow is devastating, to say the least.
Yeah, no, very strong, and we might as well. I mean, you can't talk about Leica without talking about the blue arrows. It is a very fast projectile that hits very hard. If the opponent is off stage at all, you have to be ready to get sniped, because that can secure stocks very easily. Already we're seeing a really good shot. There's the blue arrow coming out. You can see it's a very fast projectile. And the way you charge it up, you can store charges normally, but by pressing special while charging your arrow, you get the blue arrow instantly, so there's no charge time to it whatsoever. All you do is you spend one of your wisps, and you get those wisps back by hitting your normal arrows, which are sort of like Young Link fire arrows, if you're familiar with those. And you can do that on your neutral special, as well as your down B, which is sort of like a flip kick. Very, very interesting character. I love the way that they manage the resources, and just being able to quickly fire a blue arrow like that, it's so satisfying. But nevertheless, these two players have been going very back and forth right now. It's kind of what I expected. Both Windows and Zora, I'd say with these two characters in particular, I wouldn't necessarily call them character specialists by any means, but they do a great job of keeping the other player honest. You know, making sure that you have to at least be playing the game in order to beat them, and so far it's been very, very close between the two.
Yep, we're still seeming to be very close, and I feel like we're gonna see this match end in any moment now, probably. Starting to near those times.
Oh, I thought that was a blue arrow. Oh, he tried to... Okay, gets the up smash anyway, though. Okay. Yeah, he went for a setup there where he hit the whiff of blue arrow, which detonates it with a massive hitbox, does a lot of knockback, very scary. But that up smash is going to cover it regardless. Leica is going to take game 1 here for Zora. Not bad at all. And honestly, that could have easily gone either way. I mean, it really just came down to Zora finding that back air, putting Windows off stage at just the right time. So we're gonna see how Windows changes it up here in this game too. Gonna be going Tower of Heaven, which I think I can respect. You know, as Astra, you are a zoner, but you're also a very mobile character, and you're able to move around the stage quite a bit. And especially considering that Windows doesn't really like to use the trap cards very much. That's the down special, where you place your card on the ground. We don't really see that from Windows. He mostly relies on the spells, and because of that, he's a lot more in your face than I feel other Astras normally would be.
For sure.
So a pick like Tower of Heaven makes a lot of sense against Zora, who likes to use his arrows, especially in neutral, to just condition and use them to follow up off stage. That's exactly what I'm talking about with the kill power of blue arrows. Those snipes are deadly.
Yep. Alright, now the real question is if we're going to be able to see Windows pull anything back, because we have been seeing them going really even. And the nice thing, I do feel like Astra generally... Actually, I have a quick question about F-Strong. Does F-Strong still hit, like, most low platforms?
I'm not sure if it hits platforms, but it does hit very far below the leg. I know that.
And it's still very strong, just like we see there, and Windows is going to be taking that stock. Oh my god!
No! Poor DI in the forward air, yeah. He was really scared of that blue arrow follow-up, and that's why he DI'd down. But then he just died to the forward air anyway. It's a very scary situation to be in. Leica edge guards are absolutely terrifying!
You might see even more than hit! Alright.
Oh my gosh. And you want to know the scariest thing about that is you can follow up off of that blue arrow too, because after firing your blue arrow, there is a cooldown, but not on your down B, so you can fire a down B arrow and kind of chase them that way. It's very scary. But Zora just playing it cool. Okay. Gonna have to use that extra wisp there to recover. But he gets back on stage.
Blue is also still on that side of the stage. I am very curious as if Zora will be able to utilize that one in a significant way.
Okay, it goes for the down tilt up smash setup. Not as potent when you don't have a blue charge, but Window's gonna sneak that in there, but it's looking hard. I mean, especially if you're not using the trap, the Astra's comeback potential is not as good as Zora finds yet another snipe. Zora is looking solid.
Yep, Zora looking really comfortable here and only getting more comfortable as the set has been going on. And here we go. Now here is another character I mentioned that we have seen Windows on in the past, primarily playing and saying is a well-made and nice character to play, which would be Malo, actually, is what we're going to be seeing from Windows next. This is going to be a bit of a switch up for sure in terms of gameplay, I feel like. So let's wonder to see what Windows is going to be doing.
So Malo, I mean, you guys know Malo, right? Like, this is one of the first workshop characters to ever come out. Definitely, I feel like what prominated the rise of just so many OCs in the workshop. Because Malo is a really cool character. You've got a whole bunch of different bombs that you can throw out. The one that he has right now is the default bombs, which, pretty standard kill move for Malo. Very, very potent.
Yep, they're simple, they're clean, they pack a decent punch. They're pretty much, like, they're pretty much just like the most basic, they're the normal bomb. It's the most basic you can get. It does what you want it to. It does exactly what you want it to. It allows you to have a solid kill option, and allows you to play the kind of spacing game Malo wants. It's a good introductory tool to how you want to play Malo.
Yeah, and now I feel like we're seeing a little bit more of a traditional Windows playstyle. Whereas with Astra, you know, especially because he wasn't using the traps too much, kind of had to go in. Now you can see, like, Malo can definitely pressure, don't get me wrong. Oh, well, okay, until you get hit by back air. But if you need to, we can see a lot of this platform movement here from Windows, which I feel like we're all too familiar with. And yeah, I feel like it's definitely gonna help against a character like Leica, and especially against a player like Zora, who generally tends to use a lot of his arrows in neutral. Yeah, you can kind of see, like, Zora's just shooting arrows at the platforms at this point.
Yep, alright. Now, here is kind of where the struggle is going to start coming in a little bit, depending, is actually landing this kill. Because Zora has to be showing the general mobility, and probably also, like, I would definitely expect Zora to actually, like, play this matchup a bit, because there are a good handful of Malos.
Right.
Familiar, and the thing about Windows is really only... He's not mixing up his angles that much, and also, as soon as I say that, he actually starts pulling other stuff out. And also just still only really using the normal bomb. No flashbang, no firecracker, no nothing.
Yeah. I mean, hey, in a situation like this where you need to just get the kill, makes sense, but regardless, I feel like Zora's, like, just a bit of an elevated character prowess, and just being able to secure stocks a little bit easily. Yeah, and that just as I say that, another stock gone. Zora is looking very primed to take this set. Oh no, and that's not an up smash! Yeah, your smash attacks as Malos are your bomb throws, so you don't have very traditional parry punishes. Generally you want to use your down B bat. But,
yeah, no, this is. I feel like as this has been going on, Zora just get wiser and wiser about what Windows likes to go for in terms of both positioning. Like, even if it's a different character, but positioning has not necessarily changed that much. And the big difference here, that's honestly ended up being the bane of Windows more so than a boon, is just the absolute lack of their own
the one kill he gets, he uses the opponent's projectile for it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one way to do it, but can you do that 2 more times? I don't really feel like it. I think Windows is gonna have to pull out some new tricks here if he wants to stay in this.
Yeah, might want to stay a different type of bomb than just the normal one. Still sticking with it. I can respect it.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I mean, if there's anything we've seen from Windows is that he sticks to what he knows, but this is a terrifying position to be in, just getting caught by fire arrows off stage. Sneaks back just barely, but okay, the bomb hit.
Hey, about it.
Oh no, that's a parry. That's a parry, and the blue arrow! That was sick.
Yeah, someone doing something with the wisp? Unheard of.
People doing things with Wisp, finally. I love it.
All it took
Absolutely
was
love
the
to see it.
gigantic brain of Zora TK.
Alright, that was sick. And Zora, calm as ever, gonna keep moving on with this Leica. Whereas Windows gonna have to settle for 7th place. But nevertheless, still a very, very promising showing for Windows. He beat a lot of good players to get here, so it's good stuff. We're gonna have to move on though. We're going back up to the winner's side, where we've got a bit of an interesting, dare I say, spicy match. We've got ZB